Harman Smith. I've watched one video of his before where he was complaining about male feminists in The Last of Us 2 or something. This time he's back with a little bit spicier take about Black Lives Matter accomplishing absolutely nothing. Black Lives Matter accomplished absolutely nothing. And the performative white fragility right here. I, a white male, shit all over black rioters and white liberals for almost 20 minutes. Rioters are ignorant and are only hurting themselves. Oh boy. So, Harman, this should be entertaining. Take it away.
Lives Matter has accomplished absolutely nothing. I really can't stress
Wait,
Lives Matter.
he literally started it after cutting off the first word. Unless it was a deliberate artistic choice, in which case, weird, but. Okay.
Has accomplished absolutely nothing. I really can't stress this enough because it really just does feel like this is just an excuse to riot, tear shit up, and do a giant gangbang. Essentially, that is the that's that's the riots. It has nothing to do with George Floyd or anything like.
No, as Dodge pointed out, they've only accomplished getting Minneapolis to at least flirt with the idea of dismantling and defunding their police force, as we've already said this stream. They've got LA talking about cutting $150 million from their police force's funding. And I'm sure there are other places that are making similar discussions that just haven't been popularized yet. So no, they've accomplished nothing except completely changing the conversation and getting accomplishments that no one would have thought possible. But yeah, nothing there.
Like that. Like, it's just a bunch of people wanting to go out, loot shit, and pretend to be activists. The hashtag activists, as I've known it. I know so many people.
Funny, it seems to be actual activists literally in the streets who are achieving this change. So you're going to lump all the people in the streets with hashtag activists? Good on you.
People who I know are nowhere near around black people, like, oh, Blackout Tuesday, hashtag Blackout Tuesday, read more black writers, unlearn racism. Like, it's the most ridiculous thing.
This dude's malding as fuck. Holy shit. This dude is way too upset about other people supporting black lives and saying, hey, read more black literature, pay attention to more black creators, this kind of thing. He is mad as fuck about that. Holy shit, dude. It's okay. Look, the white and, let's be honest here, judging by that back wall, Asian writers you prefer are still going to be there. You can still read them. No one's going to take them away. The idea is to promote more black creators, whether it be streamers, video makers, writers, game makers, whatever. I've actually seen a significant push in the Magic the Gathering community to push up black creators. Apparently, Watsy's pretty shitty about them. I might do a segment on that here in the next day or so. See if anything really develops from it. But this is what black people are stepping out and saying, no, we are not going to be second-class citizens in America anymore. We're not going to be taken for granted. We're not going to be the whipping boys. And thanks in no small part to the police's complete inability to not escalate things, they're getting shit done.
I've ever seen in my life. I am just downright aghast at just, the situation in general, how it's been handled by everyone other than Trump, I would say. Trump is the only person who seems to know what he's doing in this situation.
Hey, KJ, long time no see. Welcome back. And no, I do not support indiscriminate looting and burning businesses and buildings.
Everybody else, I feel like is almost intentionally allowing this to happen. Oh, egging on the rioters. We can't have racism in our society. Oh, we have to allow the people to riot and tear shit up and attack people who have
Wait, I miss who the
downright aghast at just the situation in general, how it's been handled by everyone other than Trump. I would say Trump is the only person who seems to know what he's doing in this situation.
Oh, imagine that. He's a Trump supporter.
Everybody else, I feel like is almost intentionally allowing this to happen. Oh, egging on the rioters. We can't have racism in our society.
Dude, quit fucking with your mic and camera. Or if your table is that unsteady, then do something else with your hands. Get a fidget spinner or something. Holy shit.
Oh, we have to allow the people to riot and tear shit up and attack people who have nothing to do with what we're doing. No, we're going to allow these people to go out, destroy black-owned businesses, kill black police officers in the interest of protecting black people. Hashtag Black Lives.
So the looters and rioters who destroyed black-owned business people or black-owned businesses and hurt black businesses weren't part of the protest. Those are just opportunistic assholes who are out to either deliberately discredit the movement or just get their anarchistic rocks off. But the people who burned Target, who burned Minneapolis, the Minneapolis PD, the people who rioted and burned places of national or international chains, that sort of thing, they were probably part of the protest. I mean, in order to be heard, we have to cost them money. So, I support the protesters. That is what I will say on that subject. I support the protesters.
Lives matter. Holy shit. Holy shit. You are just really.
Also, to the argument of, why are they doing this to their own community? Because it's the only way the rest of the city or the rest of the world will fucking listen. Because the city's got to clean that up. And if it costs businesses millions of dollars to, rebuild, repair, and restock their businesses, then that's going to cause a push for change. And hopefully we can get the conversation right to make that change a positive one. The likes of fuck horses, that doesn't mean it's a majority or representative sample. True, Dodge. Yeah, and like I said, I support the protesters, KJ, in whatever form they feel was best to protest.
Really good job, guys. Really, really stellar. Really, really clever. Like big brained, strategic moving here. Yeah, we're just going to riot in our own community.
They only rioted once the police got violent with them and forced them to respond, because they decided they weren't going to meekly go back into their homes like they'd done 1,000 times before. No, they were done. They were tired. They're like, no, let's see how far we can push this. So far, they've gotten pretty far. Farther than anyone would have thought they would have gotten.
And ruin our own job opportunities, our own cities, the people around us. Just unbelievable.
Yes, and now you understand what the continual erosion of these communities does. Because if they don't have good job opportunities anyway, then what the hell is the point of trying to preserve what few they have? Fuck it. Burn it all down. Let's see what rises from the ashes. They're not going to be in a worse situation. And maybe, just maybe, they can build a better one. Streamer Drew Babe, which is new, said that when I don't support looting businesses, then I can't be a leftist. And that's the kind of rhetoric I'm not a fan of. That gatekeeping shit. I mean, if you are more disgusted by the looting than what caused it, then there's a problem. But as long as you can recognize that they're both at least the same level, then we can work together.
I have no sympathy for the rioters at all. I was already like very annoyed at the weird slanted coverage of the Ahmed Arbery case. That guy who attacked those guys and got.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. The guy who attacked those guys? You mean the kid who was walking through a street, got hit by a truck, and had two rednecks stand over him while a third filmed it, and then they shot him in the head? That case? Because I don't know if you know, we have footage of it. We know exactly what happened. Holy shit, mask off, dude.
Shot. It just. The narrative doesn't match up with the reality. Like, police officers are not going out indiscriminately killing black people. They're apprehending criminals.
You're just wrong. It's not that they're going around like on a shooting spree killing black people. But what they do, and there is data and evidence for this, is they will pull over a black person, make up a crime. And this also goes to the fact that there are so many statutes that it's almost impossible to drive without breaking one of them. Some minor statute that a cop can pull you over for that 9 times out of 10 cops ignore. But if they decide you're suspicious for whatever reason and they pull you over, then they can manufacture a reason to shoot you. That is the fear of every black person in America. It's something you've never experienced with your basement white skin, but it is a real experience that the rest of the world has felt. So, you know, not everything is the way you think it is, my dude. Sorry.
As is their job, and a good portion of criminal activity in the streets is from people in the hood. It's not complicated. Like, oh, why are the cops after us so much? Maybe it's because you're committing so many crimes. I don't understand.
Except that while black people do commit a disproportionate amount of crimes, they're also over-policed. So what that means is that, I read a really good analogy of this. If you have 2 streets, and there are 10 crimes committed on each street each night, but there's only 2 cops on each street, and each cop can only catch 1 crime, then it seems like they're both the same. But if you put 4 cops on one street, and 1 cop on the other street, well, then it looks like one street has 4 times as many crimes as the other street. This is why over-policing leads to these disproportionate numbers. It's not that they're actually committing more crimes, it's that so many other crimes go unreported or uncaught or uninvestigated.
What's so difficult to understand about this? It's embarrassing. It really, really is. I have no sympathy for the rioters. I have no sympathy for like the cause or the agenda. Well, not just the blacks. Like the you have the communists. You have like.
Yet white-collar criminals steal 100 times more and get deranged when they're stopped by the police station for fingerprinting, while a guy falsely accused of passing a fake 20 gets choked to death. Exactly, Dodge. Yep. It's a bit of both. Really. What do you mean by that, Dissy? I mean, I'm aware that the over-policing is in part due to more crime seems to be committed by black people, but there's a number of factors that go into that, include one of which is over-policing. There's also systemic generational poverty and various things like that.
Antifa, you have like these white liberals. I already talked a little bit about them. The virtue signalers, people going out there like, oh, we're not racist. We fucking love black people. Just trying to
There it is, folks. Virtue signaling. No one is ever serious about their virtues if they disagree with mine. They're just virtue signaling to get social credit.
they want to feel like they're part of a movement. That really all it is. They want to like pretend they're part of like some society.
Yeah, I'd rather they pretend to be part of the Black Lives Matter movement and maybe spread a positive message than to actually be part of like the America First movement or Groyper movement or the Proud Boys or one of those bowel movements and spread a message of hate and disunity. You may as well say nobody actually likes black people. Yeah, exactly.
It'll change and like improving society by again latching onto a hashtag, doing stupid shit like advocating for abolishing the police. like it's so dumb. It's so ignorant. I have no respect.
I'll grant him that this video came out on the 3rd, so it was probably recorded the day before or so. So, yes, many of the calls at that time were abolish the police, but we have since sort of been tempered down and realized that that's not really a good, solid core of the message. So, defund and reform the police is now our battle cry. Because it's working. We got Minneapolis to say they're going to dismantle and defund their police, and LA is taking money out. You know other places are considering it. So it's working.
Respect for it at all. This entire situation, man, like everything about it, like the advocating for it.
Yeah, exactly, Disney. That's like I was saying. There are a variety of factors which lead to black crimes being disproportionate to their status in society. One of which is over-policing, but there are a number of others. Yeah, exactly.
Like, this really needs to be said. This really needs to be said. Black culture is not cool. Like, rap is not good. Rap is not culture. Rap is not sophisticated. Like, rhyming about, like, how...
This is one of the things that really irritates me. Rap has some of the most incredible lyrical, like many rap songs can be examples of incredible lyrical dexterity and metaphor. Yeah. I mean, Dodge, what's a good example for a rap song I can pull up the lyrics to? This is a pretty good article about how systemic police racism is not really a big thing. Right. One of our biggest arguments is that while black people are impacted disproportionately by police brutality, the issue is the brutality primarily, not the people it's aimed at. Okay. Atmosphere, I take it? It's the caffeine, the nicotine, the milligrams of tar. It's my habitat. It needs to be cleaned. It's my car. I played the actual song, but I want to use this in a YouTube clip and I don't want to get copyright claimed. It's the cat box. It needs to be changed. It's the pain. It's women. It's the plight for power. It's government. It's the way you're given knowledge, slow with thought control and subtle hints. It's rubbing it. It's supplying cream. It's the foreigners sightseeing with high beams. It's in my dreams. It's the monsters that I conjure. It's the marijuana. Just these multisyllabic rhyme schemes, the way all of this flows together. I mean, this is It's angels, demons, gods. It's the white devils. It's the monitors, the sound man. It's the motherfucking mic levels. It's gas, fumes, fast foods, Tommy Hill, and Mommy's Pill. Columbia House Music Club, designer drugs, and rhyming thugs. It's Bloods, Crips, 5-6. It's Stick Up Kids. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's everything you be because it ain't me, motherfucker, because it ain't me. Yeah. So tell me again that rap music has no has no poetry, no music, no talent to it. Say that again, bitch.
How the cops are out to get you because you're out dealing drugs is not art, okay? There's nothing artsy about it. It's just
No, but it's what you do with that situation that can create good art in your rap. Like, I've seen some pretty dope fucking metaphors for slinging drugs that just flow with the music. And yeah, the message isn't great on a, is this good for my kids to listen to? But that doesn't mean that the music isn't fucking dope as hell. And the lyrics, there's something about rap music that the way they fit the lyrics to the beat, a good rap artist just, I don't, it really does, like I really enjoy rap music, and I think that it does represent a very strong art form that some people just think is just speaking rhythmically about anything.
there's a reason we punish criminals, okay? It's 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 embarrassing. It really really is.
We punish certain criminals. I mean, there's a thing that's been on my Facebook for the last couple of days of it was a teacher who diddled 28 kids and he got like 8 years in prison. Like, some crimes, like drug crimes, are disproportionately punished for their impact on society versus other crimes which are disproportionately underpunished, especially for their impact on society. And the correlation seems to be how many zeros there are in your bank account.
Uh, and I do think Americans.
No, dude, this guy listens to anime and video game OSTs and nothing else. He doesn't listen to Nickelback. Nickelback is too American or some shit for this dude. Trust me. He listens to anime and video game OSTs.
Of other races, not just white people. Mexicans. Well, I guess Mexicans are technically another ethnicity. Asians, in particular, Asians, I would say, are almost getting dragged into it. I would say because one of the cops who was there on the scene of like the George Floyd murder. And by the way, George Floyd was murdered from my.
Yeah, this isn't a black or white thing. It's a race thing. So minorities, including Asians, who have benefited over the last 50 years from a disproportionate number of them. It's difficult for Asians to come over here unless they're wealthy. Now, we did get a number of Vietnamese and Laotian refugees back in the 60s and 70s. And we've gotten some more refugees now, more from the Middle East than from Asia. But for the most part, Asians who moved over here were wealthy. And since they were wealthy, they tended to be better educated. And since they were better educated, they tend to have children who are better educated. And so they more easily slipped into and assimilated into white culture. And there's not the history of crime that there is for black or Mexican immigrants.
My understanding. But that just goes to another topic is like the cop who did it is in trouble now, not because of the riots, but
the difference between me and Mahler is I'm not going to take 3 hours to go through a half-hour video.
whatever. Because of the riots, the cop who did it is probably going to get off because you're pushing for the
Wrong! Second-degree murder and the other 3 cops who were there have also been arrested. I haven't heard what they've been charged with, but they've also been arrested and charged. So you're wrong there. Boy, you picked a really bad time to make this video, my dude. Like, right before everything started to happen so that you could claim that nothing was going to happen.
the charge to be higher than it should have been, essentially. I just saw a nice video on that from Nick Rekieta. Check that out. Man, this is just... Man, it's just embarrassing. I do think that, like...
Yes, this video is very embarrassing for you, and I would delete it if I were you.
Americans of, like, all races and all ethnicities, they really need to put a stop to this protest culture. Protest culture is getting way out of hand, and I do think we need to put a stop to it, to deter it somehow. The solution I came up with, militias. We need to form civilian militias to sort of, like, force these people to peacefully protest. Like, real peaceful.
Wow. You think a bunch of armed white boys showing up at these protests is going to keep the thing from being peaceful? Unless those are people trained in de-escalation and interpersonal communication, like I've already said, it's probably just they're gonna pop off at someone saying something to them, or they're gonna say something to the wrong person, and it's just gonna pop off again. Not to mention, well, I have some other issues with militias, not really related to militias in general or their intention, but in the way militias have been co-opted in America over the last 30 years or so to basically refer to a bunch of rich white boys playing G.I. Joe in the woods, or maybe not so rich if you get down south, in tactical armor with weapons that they have no idea how to use, acting like they're going to be the successors to the United States of America when the end times come.
Protest. Like, if things get out of hand, people should have the capacity to defend themselves. And I do think that was the big problem with the riot initially, is that people were not comfortable defending themselves from these people, but they should have been.
You think the police were uncomfortable defending themselves from the protesters? Is that really your argument? Because you speak a little strangely with your deliberately vague pronouns and whatnot, so that could have referred to anything, but it sounded there like you were saying the police were afraid to interact with the protesters, and phew, that was not the case, my dude.
Again, it's just a matter of preparation and actually really being willing to deal with these people, deal with this shit. And I have no real patience for this, like, at all. I have no respect for it. I have no.
Cool. Didn't ask, doesn't matter, plus you're white.
Intention of ever having respect for it. Like, I don't believe the protesters when they say that, like, black people are being victimized by the police. What are you doing to protest? Committing more crimes? It makes me think that, like, the reason you're upset.
Holy shit. I'm just gonna take that last clip of me telling him, cool, didn't ask, doesn't matter, plus you're white, and just repeat it, because I'm guessing that's going to be the rest of this video. I mean,
it's not even really about race, because, like, of course, a lot of the protesters are, like, you know, these white liberals. If anything, I probably hate those people more than the blacks at this point. It's just like, they're causing problems. Like, you have to acknowledge that these people are not being reasonable with how they're executing their things. You know what I mean?
What exactly do you mean by that?
I do feel like we need to stop. A lot of corporations are out there are, like, donating these people money, Black Lives Matter money. Don't do it. It's a scam. Like, you don't need to support these people. You shouldn't support these people. They're out there stealing your shit and all. Oh, we got to protect black people. Like, no. If any.
So all he's done is conflate the rioters and looters with all the protesters, including the ones that stay peaceful. So by doing that, he's trying to discredit the entire movement. Say, we need to stop giving money to... Why do you think it's a scam? Because the money is going to the legitimate bail for the illegitimate arrests of these protesters. Why do you think we should stop giving them money? Is it because you don't like the black people rising up and trying to get equal rights? You have a problem with that? I think you might. Create a dog whistle counter. I've been keeping track of it. It's got to be in the dozens by now. Probably.
Anything. Here's the real solution to this. I think black people need to solve their own problems. Like, it's interesting. Like, they're not really... The entire process...
Holy shit. This is like 2012 level fucking discourse. Black people need to solve their own problems. They've tried, but no one is paying attention to them. So now they've got national attention, and they're working to change things. But what the real argument there with the black people need to solve their own problems is dog whistling how the issue with black people is not systemic racism, it's not intergenerational poverty, it's not the lack of proper education in these black communities. No, there's just something wrong with the black people, and they need to fix it themselves. Which is fucking ludicrous.
Seems to be about getting that's how they're kind of justifying it. Like, they want white people, Americans at large, right, to intervene and fix all their problems, get rid of...
No, they want people to stop working against them and maybe sometimes start helping them to achieve their goals. Like, I think what this guy is, he sees someone, a black person in the ghetto screaming like, we need help! We need help to get out of this, to fix this situation. And not understanding that that person is asking for them to help what they're doing. And because that person on this video recognizes that we live in a society where, in fact, if one group does better, then generally all groups above them do better. So if we help out black people who, through a variety of factors, are at or among the lowest rungs of society, if we help them improve their society, improve their communities, improve their lives, then that will improve the lives of everyone above them on the arbitrary society hierarchy. Until one day there is no one above them and it's all the same level playing field. But no, that would come too close to black people actually getting equal rights, and that would mess up the hierarchy that your little conservative mind has come up with.
These corrupt police officers, all of the police officers, by any means necessary. And it just... You're essentially just not really doing anything to fix the problem. Like, you're not acquiring... Again, I hear them bitching about, like, money problems, financial problems all the time. I don't see them starting businesses. I don't see them trying to make money. I don't even see them working jobs, okay? Do you know how many black guys I've seen come into my workplace, right, and just leave within a couple of days because, oh, it's too boring, man. It's just... No. Like, if you want...
So, let me ask you this. If you were a person who all your life you grew up seeing two kinds of people, two kinds of men, say you're a boy, you observe men. One always has a brand new car, is always bringing in new flat screen TVs, new game systems, what have you. Always has the flashiest new shoes and new clothes. And as you get older, you realize that he gets this money because he sells drugs. Versus the other guy you observed who worked at the local Walmart or McDonald's, or worked in a less fast food kitchen like I don't even know, like a Buffalo Wild Wings or something like that. And you notice that that guy, always drives a beat up car, never gets a new TV except every few years. You see these two different people. Man, you're gonna try the legit route because you know that that's low risk. But when you're not making money there, it's gonna be like, man, I should just go back to slinging dope because, I mean, Kanye said it best. Growing up, man, the only grown man who wasn't broke, man, was the dope man. So we need to. So the reason why these jobs aren't attractive is because wages are so low, so stagnant, that they can't get by with a job, so they do something to supplement it, and one of two things happens. Either they make it and they're able to live comfortably, or they go to jail. And with mandatory minimums, they're in jail for a good long time. They don't really have to worry about how they're going to feed themselves for the next decade or three.
You want money, you have to work for it. It's just that's just the nature. I think they, as a collective, black people as a whole, are too coddled by society. It's been like 60 years since the civil rights movement. Like, they're not being treated this way because of racism. They're being treated this way because of their own actions and how they handle their own problems. It's not unreal.
But you ignore all of the material conditions that led to them reacting this way. Like, just because, as me and Ween 13 pointed out here, all the black guys you worked with were lazy. So that means that all black people are lazy is perfectly scientific data, and I'm glad you were able to share that study with us. No, you moron. On average, black people are no more or less lazy than other people. But what has happened is that there are a number of loopholes that they, along with white people, take advantage of, but it's criminalized, or demonized rather, when black people do it. Or more accurately, it's expected of black people to do it. And so it creates this expectation, this socialization that they're going to take these certain paths in life. And these paths in life happen to be more profitable than the traditional paths we would want them to go down. Now, we thought we could correct this with tougher policing, but all it's done is made things more violent. So maybe we should try a different method. Maybe we should change the method of policing, which has kept a boot on black people's throats for 100 years. And maybe try a little compassion and a little injection of capital into these communities and see what it gets us. It can't get worse.
Reasonable for the police.
I worked with a guy a decade ago at a commission-only job that would take a week off and work the trap to feed his kid and girl. If he didn't sell anything legit, then come back and try to sell again. That was his reality. He didn't want to sell the drugs. He did it to get by. Ignoring that reality is the definition of privilege. Thank you, Dodge. Yes. The thing is, selling drugs is a consistent income. If you know the right people, you can sell, the right connections, everything. You can live quite comfortably doing it, but it's a very dangerous profession, especially for black people. So, a lot of people do it if they can't make legit money, and a lot of people find that it's easier to make money doing that. And, just, is this the week I get shot by a cop? Is this the week I go to jail for 30 years? Who knows? In the meantime, I'm eating. My kids are eating. My wife's eating. I have a hard time hating on someone for making that decision.
Like, go after them due to the kind of shit they pull on a regular basis. You know what I mean? Like, I am very much hashtag I stand with the police in this situation. Blue Lives Matter, you could say. I think that's what the hashtag is. I have
Blue lives don't matter. They're the only ones that don't.
it's just a matter, I think, of just holding them responsible for what they're doing. I don't want to see bailouts for these cities. I want to see them pay for their actions. I don't want these people to get stimulus checks. I don't want them to get money out of this. I do want to see them prosecuted. They should be punished. Like, everyone.
I know he's talking about the protesters and whatnot, but I'm just going to assume that he's talking about the police who instigated violence at these riots and whatnot, because that makes a lot better, more sense for me.
They can catch, really. Like, you don't have to catch all of them. Like, that's probably impractical considering the nature of these riots, but just apprehend them, just rein them in, do something, okay? Don't sit there and just.
They've tried, you numbskull, and you know what happens? Most of them get away or get bailed out, bonded out, and then they're back there the next night. Because, and I know that there are some people who will say that, well, if they're just getting bailed out, then they're not learning their lesson. Good. There is no lesson to learn except that the police are unfair and authoritarian. Like, I want people there night after night if there's continual protest and unrest like there was in Minneapolis, in LA. Like, I guess there is going on in Iowa City right now. I want them to keep fatiguing the police, making them tired, draining their resources. Because that's the only way we can get these cities and states to the bargaining table. Is to drain enough of their resources that to continue fighting is more expensive than changing.
Let the don't sit there and force the military.
Hello, Durka. Long time no see. And I feel about the Jewish people about the same as I do of any people. They have the right to exist and be a part of any community they wish.
President to get involved when it really, damn, I have so much to talk about. Okay, the president, right? Like I said, Trump is based and red pilled and doing everything he needs to do.
Video is the ultimate red pill if you want to find out what is happening right now in the world. Should I click it? Nah, get the fuck out of here.
But, why are people angry at the president for what the police of Minneapolis did? Like, if you have a problem with the police, go protest the police in that city. Not in, like, protest the mayor, go after the people who are directly protecting them. Don't go after the president of the entire country. Like, that.
Why not go after the man whose rhetoric has inflamed racist tendencies among both people and cops? Why not go after the man who repeatedly referred to people like Colin Kaepernick as un-American, I believe he referred to them as sons of bitches. Why not go after the man who is calling for the Army and the National Guard to go into these cities to restore order? Trump is a public... This is what I don't get about a lot of these conservatives. When people raise legitimate concerns about Trump's actions and rhetoric, they're like, why are you going after Trump? He had nothing to do with this. He stuck his fucking nose in it. And moreover, he's the goddamn president. He's the president of the United States. He is the most powerful political figure in the United States and arguably the world. If he has an opinion on something, that opinion is likely to become law. So maybe we should listen to what he has to say and counter it when necessary. Yeah, he is definitely determined.
That move, like going after the White House, like it makes me think like the entire thing is primarily politically motivated. Like I really think this is the main reason why these Democrats.
It's primarily politically motivated because everything is politics. Because the interaction between cops and other people is political. Yes, it's politically motivated. And when Trump sticks his fucking nose into it, then he's gonna get something back. I can actually smell wood smoke, so something nearby is actually burning right now.
Cities are supporting this shit is that they're trying to ruin Donald Trump. Like they're trying desperately and failing. If what people have been saying to me is any indication, like I have not seen a single Trump supporter say that like we need to like vote Democrat in order to end racism. No, we're all
no, because if you're a goddamn Trump supporter in 2020, then nothing is going to sway you. Remember 5 years ago when Trump said I could shoot someone in the middle of Fifth Avenue and wouldn't lose a single supporter? Well, he's definitely at that point now. All of his supporters are ride or fucking die. It's fucking insane.
Sick of this shit. Like it's gotten way out of hand a long time ago. I'm sick of these people. I'm sick of the things they pull, the disrespect they show to our authority. Right, to people who are just
big bad fascists is like, please don't criticize authority. It hurts its feelings when you criticize authority. Nah, get fucked.
Just doing their jobs in a lot of cases, blaming everything on racism, which is probably another video topic in general. Like, that's probably the core of this issue. Like. Black people blame all of their problems on racism. Like, people only hate us because we're black, man. You know, it's not because of the way we act or what we do or how we behave. It's entirely because, hashtag racism. Just
can it be both? By that, I of course mean, can it both be that that black people behave a certain way and that people are irritated by that behavior because of racism? Because they behave in a way that is counter to how they think regular people should behave? Because I'll give you a hint. It's a lot closer to that than what you think it is, my dude.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That really needs to stop. I don't respect that attitude at all. They're just... They need to be more responsible. Like, when you get right down to it, that's the core of the issue. They need to be more responsible. Community self-regulation, I think. Black people need to... I don't know, man.
This is the height of privilege, because you can only talk about community self-regulation when you live in a community that has no disputes because you never talk to your neighbors. Because your only interactions are waves on your way to or from the car to work. Where if there is a major dispute, the police come and it's handled amicably. Like, this is, again, the height of privilege to make claims like this. Holy shit.
hold themselves accountable, sort of make positive changes in their community. Don't resort to riots. Like, don't resort to like attacking.
Riots are the language of the unheard. So they've been screaming and yelling about their issue, but no one is listening. So now they're rioting. But you don't like that because now you have to listen to black people. And that just burns you up inside, doesn't it?
Mexicans or like destroying buildings or looting shit. Like, you know, just, I don't know. Get educated, do something responsibly, right? Like, make real changes in your community and how things are handled. And I'm not seeing that from these people at all. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, these riots just show me that these people need to be reined in, right? They need to be...
These people need to be reined in. Yeah, you're just waiting to put them back on the slave block, aren't you?
We need to protect other people from these individuals. They are putting others at risk. I didn't even get to the whole like virus thing. Yeah, if you're out protesting right now, you're probably spreading the deadly Chinese super virus, man-made.
Cool story, OG Cookies. You have any source on that? Yeah, definitely Magmill.
Man,
that's what you heard. Well, I heard that George Soros is actually paying Republicans to keep talking about him because it keeps his stocks up. It's just what I heard.
Made in a lab in Wuhan. Like, wow, that's kind of amazing that no one's seriously bringing that up. I mean,
no, we already talked about this, but for the benefit of this video, the analogy I gave earlier was it's like you're allergic to bees, and there's a bunch of bees around right now, so you stay inside. But you're looking outside and your friend is being attacked by a bear, so you run out to fight off the bear. The bees are still a problem, but the bears are more pressing of a problem. So we're definitely going to have to deal with the coronavirus here in a week or two. But right now we're trying to deal with the systemic disenfranchisement of an entire ethnic class in America.
If the virus is still a problem, honestly, things are opening up where I am right now, and I haven't heard of any cases, and people still don't know how it's being spread. So, I mean,
we do know how it's being spread, like most other viruses, through water particulates in the air and on surfaces that contain the virus. We know how it's spread. Mostly. I mean, I'm not saying we know everything, but we know a good amount about how it's spread, so I'm not sure what denialism this shit is. This is like someone cracked open a time capsule from 2012 was like, okay, here's what's going on in America, and give us your uninformed opinion.
Maybe it's not as big as a deal as we thought it was, but I don't know, man. If that's true, like 2020, like the year of false happenings, you know what I mean? Like if COVID wasn't that big of a deal, Corona wasn't that big of a deal.
No, it wasn't that big of a deal. It only killed 100,000 people in like 3 months. You know, no big deal. Not an issue at all.
Trump killing that Iranian general wasn't that big of a deal. Like, I don't believe that this police brutality is some widespread national issue or worldwide issue.
Of course you don't. You're white.
Should say, because of all these virtue signaling protests in other countries. No, I don't believe cops are going out like harassing black people purely for the sake of being black. Just like how I don't believe they're harassing me when they stop me for...
So it's not that police are necessarily going out and just harassing people because they're black. Although there are definitely some who are doing that. The issue is that police are taught that black people tend to be more criminal, so they look more suspiciously at black people. even if they don't have any preconceived racial biases, which is unlikely but possible, then the rhetoric and training that police go through, as I understand it, will teach them to be more suspicious and assume more criminal liability out of black people than out of white or Asian or, well, almost any other group other than like Mexicans. And it is this implicit bias in the system and in their training that we're trying to fight against, in addition to the acknowledged infiltration of police units by white supremacists, white nationalists, that has also created this issue.
Or, I don't know, speeding or whatever.
You can tell when his brain is overheating because he out his lips like that.
Like it's not. They're doing their job. Like that's what they're supposed to do. Like, I am not too impressed with how this situation. I really can't emphasize enough. Like,
all right, we're done. Doesn't matter. No one cares. Plus, you're white. Your opinion on this situation is completely irrelevant. So, I'm sorry you don't like it. We're gonna change the world anyway. Fucking idiot. Hey, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. Remember to like, share, and leave a comment because it helps me. Subscribe and ring that bell to help you. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.